Hello, everyone. Welcome back to your English podcast, the ideal spot to gradually improve your English with each episode.
Good afternoon. My name is Nina.
And I'm Alex. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something, well, really fundamental, but maybe sometimes overlooked.
How to introduce yourself easily and confidently in English.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that. Introducing yourself. Sounds simple, right? Basic.
It does sound basic.
But when you really think about it, it's the very first thing you do. That first contact point,
Yeah.
The start of building any kind of connection when you're speaking English.
Exactly. And it's funny, isn't it? So many people understand a lot of English.
Yeah, they get the grammar, the words.
Right. But then that moment comes, time to actually say hello, and suddenly...
Whoosh. Nerves. I think a lot of us feel that little wave of nervousness.
It's so common. And that's precisely what we want to tackle in this deep dive.
Okay.
Our goal today isn't just about giving you phrases, though we'll do that too. It's more about building the understanding, the confidence behind it all.
Right, so you actually feel comfortable thinking those first moves.
Yes. We'll be looking closely at sort of the anatomy of a good introduction. What makes it work? What makes it stick?
And maybe how to put a bit of you into it, your personality.
Absolutely. By the end of our chat today, the idea is you'll feel much more at ease starting basically any conversation.
That sounds like a great goal. And, before we jump into the how-to, maybe we should spend a moment on the why. Why is getting this right so important?
Good question. It really goes way beyond just swapping names, doesn't it?
It feels like it does, yeah.
Think about it like this. That first step, introducing yourself confidently, it can give your overall English-speaking confidence a massive boost.
Ah, okay. Like setting the right tone from the get-go.
Exactly. When you feel prepared, when you know how to say who you are clearly, it changes everything. It turns something that might feel like a big hurdle.
Yeah, it's a bit scary sometimes.
Into a positive starting point. A launch pad for the rest of the conversation.
Okay, I like that. A launch pad.
And we're really going to dig into this. This isn't just surface level. We'll break down the actual structure, look at all the bits and pieces.
So not just name and age.
Not just name and age, no. Those are important, of course, but also those more interesting details, the things that give a little glimpse of who you actually are.
The personality bits we mentioned.
Precisely. We want to give you a kind of framework, a clear way to put together introductions that aren't just informative, but, engaging too.
And I guess that initial confidence, if you get the introduction right, it probably helps with the rest of the chat.
Oh, definitely. It has this ripple effect. You start strong, you feel like you're in control of those first few moments. You're much more likely to stay relaxed, actually listen, to participate actively as things unfold.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So maybe, should we try a quick example? Just to see it in action?
Yeah, let's do that. A little demonstration.
Okay. Hi, I'm Alex. Tell me, where are you from?
Hi, I'm Nina. I live in Washington, D.C. I'm 28 years old. And you are?
I'm originally from London, actually. And I'm also 28.
Yeah.
So, pleasure to meet you, Nina.
Likewise, Alex. So what is it you do?
I work in the film industry. Mostly behind the camera stuff,
Yeah.
And yourself.
I work as an English teacher.
Yeah.
And when I'm not doing that, I actually find a lot of joy in reading detective novels. Big fan.
Cool.
Yeah. And I also really like getting outdoors, hiking, doing a bit of yoga to, unwind.
That's great. Interesting mix. I For example, I'm really passionate about the filmmaking side of things, obviously. But I also love playing the drums.
Oh, really?
Drums! Yeah. It's just a fantastic way to, I don't know, express some creativity, keep the energy up, stay positive.
That's brilliant. And what's interesting there, just in that short exchange, look how quickly we went past just the basic facts. Name, age, location. Done. Then straight into work and hobbies.
Right. It moved quite fast.
And immediately you start to see potential connections, don't you? Glimpses of personality. It wasn't just filling in a form.
No, it felt more like opening doors. Like, okay, what's behind this door?
Yeah. Exactly. Those simple questions. What do you do? What are you into? They're real conversation starters. They let you find that shared ground, or even just something interesting you didn't know.
Yeah, like if I'd said, oh, you like hiking? Me too. I was looking for some good spots around here. Boom. New conversation thread.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So let's dig into that a bit more. Those personal details, hobbies, interests. You mentioned detective novels, hiking, yoga. What is it about those things? Why do they appeal to you?
Yeah, what draws you in?
Well, the detective stories, I think I've always loved the puzzle aspect, you know, trying to piece it all together before the big reveal. It's like a mental workout.
Keeps the brain sharp.
Yeah. And then hiking and yoga, that's more about, I guess, finding balance. Hiking gets me out into nature, which I find just incredibly refreshing, grounding.
Connect with the outdoors.
Yes. And yoga helps me slow down, focus on right now, the present moment, and just let go of any tension. That's honestly a wonderful way to de-stress.
That makes total sense. Finding that balance. And for you, with the filmmaking and the drumming, what's the fulfillment there? What's the hook?
What's the buzz?
Yeah. For me, filmmaking, it's all about telling stories. The power of narrative. I just love the whole process, you know, from that first little idea to figuring out how to show it visually, bringing it to life. There's a real deep satisfaction in crafting that story.
Can imagine.
And the drums, honestly.
That's it.
That's just pure energy. It's such a great outlet. Like I said, creativity, but also just fun. A great mood booster. Creating rhythms, there's something really primal and satisfying about it.
That's fantastic. And if we sort of zoom out and connect this back to introductions,
okay,
you can see how sharing these kinds of things, these passions, makes a much stronger impression than just saying, I'm Alex, I work in film.
Right. It gives people something concrete, something to remember you by, something maybe they can relate to or at least ask more about.
Exactly. And it's not just about hobbies, is it? We can also, perhaps more subtly, hint at some of our strengths.
Ah, okay. That's an interesting angle. Strengths. How does that work in an intro?
Well, think about it. When you're first meeting someone, it's a chance to subtly highlight positive qualities. Things like maybe patience, or having a generally positive attitude, or being good at finding common ground with people.
Useful traits, for sure.
Definitely. And mentioning them gently can make a really positive first impression.
But, okay, here's the tricky part, maybe. How do you do that without sounding like you're bragging or being insincere? What's the secret to mentioning strengths naturally?
That's the key question, isn't it? And the answer is usually context and showing, not telling.
Show, don't tell, like in filmmaking.
Exactly. So instead of saying flat out, I am an extremely patient person, which can sound a bit, well, boastful.
Yeah, a bit much.
You could weave it into what you do.
Yeah.
For example, as an English teacher, patience is definitely something I've had to develop over the years. And honestly, I really enjoy seeing that moment when a student finally gets something.
Ah, I see. So you mentioned the quality, but it's linked directly to your experience.
Yeah.
Makes it feel more grounded, more real.
Precisely. It's much more authentic that way. And, to make introductions even more memorable, more engaging,
Yeah.
you can also add a little bit of humor.
Humor. Okay. Tell us about that first yoga class you mentioned. Give us the funny story.
Oh gosh, okay. Right. My very first yoga class, I went in totally blind, had absolutely no idea what to expect.
What a brave.
Or foolish. Anyway, I was so completely lost, just utterly confused by the instructions and the poses, that I actually ended up facing the wrong way for about half the class.
No.
Yes. Everyone else is in this perfect, graceful, downward-facing dog, And there I am, facing the back wall, probably looking more like some kind of bewildered upside-down beetle.
Oh, dear.
It felt so awkward at the time. Mortifying, really. But looking back, it's just funny. Definitely a memorable introduction to yoga.
That's brilliant. It makes you seem very relatable. And what about you? Any lighthearted anecdotes from your world?
Yeah, definitely. One that always makes me laugh thinking back. It was one of my first times properly on a film set. Woo! Exciting.
Yeah, I was incredibly excited. Maybe too excited. The director, quite a well-known one, came over to introduce himself. And I was just completely starstruck.
Oh no, brain freeze.
Total brain freeze. My mind just went blank.
Yeah.
He'd say hello, held out his hand, and I almost forgot my own name. I just sort of stammered. Something like, hi.
Yeah.
Yes, me. Also here.
Smooth.
Not quite the cool, collected introduction I was hoping for. He was very nice about it, thankfully.
Those are great examples, and what really strikes me is how those little stories, especially the slightly self-deprecating ones,
Yeah.
they just make you so much more human, more approachable. Being able to laugh at yourself, share a moment like that, it breaks down barriers instantly.
Yeah, it lowers the formality maybe. Makes people feel more comfortable around you.
Exactly that. Funny stories breathe life into an introduction. They show humility, make you seem less intimidating, perhaps. It's a fantastic way to build a connection right from the start.
Okay, so we've talked about why intros matter. We've seen an example. We've explored adding personal stuff like hobbies, strengths, even funny stories. Maybe now's a good time to pull it all together, a clear step-by-step approach.
Yes, I think a structured approach can be really helpful, especially when you're starting out or feeling nervous. So let's map it out.
Okay, step one.
Step one, name. Simple, clear, direct. My name is, or I'm. Just get it out there confidently.
Got it. Name first.
Step two.
Step two, age. Now, this is optional, really depends on the situation, the culture, your comfort level.
Right. Not always appropriate, especially maybe in professional settings.
Often not, no. But in some social contexts, it's fine. If you choose to just, I am years old.
Okay. Optional age. Step three.
Step three, location. Where you live or where you're from. I live in, or I'm originally from. It's a common point of connection.
Just people something to latch on to. Oh, London. I visited there once.
Exactly. Step four, work or study. What you do. I work as a compartment, or I'm studying. Keep it brief unless they ask for more detail. Right. The what you do part. Step five.
Step five. This is where you add that flavor. Hobbies and strengths. Mention one or two interesting things. Something that makes you, well, you.
The personality bit again.
Yeah.
A key hobby, a unique interest. Maybe that subtle strength we talked about.
Yes. Something distinctive. And finally, step 6, which is also optional but effective.
Let me guess. The funny story.
You got it. Step 6, funny story. A short, lighthearted anecdote like the ones we shared makes you memorable, approachable. Keep it brief, though.
Okay, so name, age, optional, location, work study, hobby strengths, funny story. Optional. That's a pretty solid framework.
It is, but remember what we said earlier.
Don't sound like a robot reading a list.
Exactly. These are steps, a guide, not a rigid script. The delivery needs to feel natural, conversational, let your personality come through, be yourself.
Yeah, authenticity is key. And maybe having some specific words handy could help too. Useful vocabulary for introductions.
Absolutely. Let's look at a few keywords that often pop up or can be really useful. First one, creative.
Okay, creative, meaning having imagination, making new things.
Precisely. Using imagination or original ideas. For example, you might say, in my work, I always try to find creative solutions to problems.
Got it. Next word.
Tedious. Tedious.
Tedious. That sounds like boring.
Yes.
Repetitive.
Exactly. Long, tiresome, monotonous, like sorting through all this old data can be quite tedious.
Okay, tedious. What else?
How about rewarding?
Rewarding. So the opposite of tedious, something that gives you satisfaction.
Yes, providing satisfaction, feeling worthwhile. You might say, helping my students finally understand English grammar is incredibly rewarding.
Makes sense. Rewarding. 2 more.
Let's do relaxation.
Relaxation. Pretty straightforward. Chilling out, resting.
The state of being free from tension and anxiety, taking time to rest and enjoy yourself. Yoga is my favorite form of relaxation after a busy week.
Okay, and the last one.
Patience.
Patience. Being able to wait calmly or deal with problems without getting annoyed.
That's it. The capacity to accept delay or difficulty without getting upset. Learning any new skill requires a lot of patience.
Creative, tedious, rewarding, relaxation, patience. Good words. How might we weave those into an intro? Could you give an example?
Sure. Okay, something like, hi, I'm Nina. I teach English. Honestly, explaining some grammar rules can feel a bit tedious sometimes, but seeing students gain confidence is so rewarding. In my free time, I find real relaxation doing yoga, which also helps me practice patience, something useful in teaching and life.
Nice. You got rewarding, tedious, relaxation, and patience in there. Very smooth. My turn.
Go for it.
Okay. Hello, I'm Alex. I work in film. While some technical parts can be, well, frankly tedious, finding a creative solution for a tricky shot and seeing the story come together is hugely rewarding. Playing the drums is also a great creative outlet for me and a fantastic way to find some relaxation. I think I got creative, tedious, rewarding, and relaxation. Missed patience.
Still, very good. And notice how using those words adds a bit more depth, texture.
Yeah, it does. It's not just listing facts. It tells a little story about your experience, your values maybe, what drives you.
Exactly. It gives people a richer picture. So as we start thinking about wrapping up this deep dive,
Okay.
let's just quickly recap the main takeaways. We've really stressed how important it is to be able to introduce yourself confidently, right?
Definitely. And not just name and rank, but really talking about yourself.
Yeah.
Sharing those personal bits.
Being able to share who you are, what you enjoy, maybe even a little story, making yourself memorable.
And remembering that this confidence, it's a skill. It's not magic. It comes with practice.
Absolutely. Practice and also having a positive mindset about it. It's okay if it's not perfect every time. Don't be afraid of making little mistakes. Just learn from them.
So the homework, if you like, for everyone listening,
Yes.
is to actually go out and try it. Find a chance, maybe even a low-stakes one, to introduce yourself using some of these ideas. Use the steps. Think about a hobby or a strength.
Great challenge. Pay attention to how it feels. Notice what lands well. And importantly, don't get discouraged if the first try feels a bit clunky. It gets easier.
It really does. And, we genuinely love to hear how you get on.
Oh, definitely.
Please do leave us comments. Share your own introduction stories. Maybe you have a funny one like ours. Tell us about successes you have using these tips.
And ask questions. If there's anything you're still unsure about, anything specific about introducing yourself in English, let us know. Your feedback really helps us shape these deep dives.
Absolutely. And hey, if you are finding these sessions useful for your English journey, please consider subscribing to the channel. That way you won't miss future deep dives.
And maybe let us know, too, what other parts of English communication would you like us to tackle? What topics are you curious about? Pop them in the comments.
Great idea. So the final message is, stay bold, experiment with your introductions, and we look forward to seeing you on the next edition of your English podcast.
And just a final thought to leave you with. Thinking back on everything we discussed today, what's maybe the one piece of advice about introductions that really resonated with you the most? Something to mull over.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to our deep dive.